Welcome to the So You Want to Start a Business podcast. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am your host, Ingrid Thompson. This is a podcast about and for entrepreneurs and leaders who think big, who take action to create business success, financial independence, and who make a difference in the world. I'm here to provide this helpful, lively, and thought-provoking podcast, and based on all the feedback from you, it is all of this and more. This is one of our in-between episodes, the episodes with me between the interviews. My mission is to teach women business owners and enlightened men in business how to achieve financial intelligence through increasing business acumen and confidence. Financial independence comes from identifying and allocating profit first and through paying yourself first through building a viable and thriving business. If you have any questions, please send me an email, ingridthompson@healthynumbers.com.au. I answer all my own emails. Okay, so what am I talking about today? A mindset shift that many business owners find challenging. And that's my role here, to challenge some of our same thinking. Are you ready? So first, I just want to let you know that I've returned from 2-week relax and refresh road trip. If you're a member of the Healthy Numbers Profit Lab Facebook group, you might have seen some of our live-webinars from the road. I recorded along the way. Some of them had really lovely backgrounds, and it was such a great trip. We drove north from Sydney as far as Kingscliff, and that included being at the most eastern point of Australia, the Byron Bay Lighthouse. I mention this because it is the most eastern point and therefore is the first place to start each new day. I love the early morning. Are you an early morning person, or are you a bit more of an night owl? And I have such a deliberate way of starting my day. I wake before it's light. I spend those first few moments thinking about how grateful I am to be wherever I am, to be alive and to be healthy. And then I love to watch the light move across the sky because my bedroom actually faces to the east. So I watch the sky change and I think about my day ahead. And I think about all the wonderful potential ahead in the day, who I'll work with and why I do what I do. And I love to remind myself of my why. So I ask you now to really think about, how do you set yourself up for the day? How do you get started on your day? Are you an early bird, or do you prefer a slower start to your day? It's so important how we start our day and how we set ourselves up. Okay, so let me get into today's topic, making the pie bigger, the mindset shift we need. So I'm in a number of different Facebook groups as a business person and as an individual. And I came across a recent discussion in one of the groups, and it really had me thinking about this concept of the pie. So Stephen Covey wrote 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. He talks about the pie and this idea of there being plenty of market share for everyone. And the pie analogy refers to this idea that if there's a pie and one person takes a piece, then there's only so much pie left for the others. So Covey's philosophy is that the pie is ever expanding. And since I very first heard of this in the 1980s, when I actually attended a seminar with the great Stephen Covey, it's always been my belief that there is plenty of pie because we truly do live in such an abundant universe. So back to my example from this other Facebook group. It's an industry-specific group, and one member wrote a post something like this: I cannot believe it. I'm running my business and someone else has opened the exact same business in the same building as me. This person is totally outraged in their comment and looking for the community support to endorse their outrage at what has happened. And the post continued to say how unfair it was and why would somebody do this, and this person had earned the right to be the exclusive because they'd been there the longest, and etc., etc. So I first read the post and I was really surprised at the level of anger and outrage being expressed. By the time I came across it, there were already about 50 comments of support. WTF, only the actual words. How could she? How long have you been there? Oh my gosh, you poor thing. This is just so wrong in so many ways. Long, detailed comments of support and further outrage, and tons of righteous indignation. I have to admit, I was really surprised by all of it. And while I was thinking to add my voice as an alternate point of view, which I most definitely feel like I would have done face to face, something happens in an online group when everyone has the same view, and it can be difficult in an online group to express the alternate view. And this is one of the major criticisms of the way social media is changing how we see the world and how we express ourselves. And that is totally a topic for another discussion. So, back to my example. As a business person and a business observer, I read this entire post with interest. And I have to admit being very curious about how this belief of entitlement comes to be. And the premise is that because this one business was there in that location and has been there for some period of time, no other similar business could possibly open up anywhere nearby. There are so many aspects to this example, but I'm going to cover a couple right here today. I'm especially inspired to talk about this because we just went to this new cafe on the weekend, and it's a new location for one of our favourites that we go to in another suburb. And this new cafe is located on a strip of shops on a busy road, and there are two other high-profile Sydney cafes, as well as an extremely well-regarded bakery, and they are all literally side by side. So I went to order my breakfast and our coffees, and the person who served me happened to be the owner of the new cafe. And I said, how are things going? And they've been open since May. And she said something like this. She said, the community here is amazing. They have been so supportive. We get so much support from everyone. And I commented that, there were the other cafes nearby. And she said, yeah. She said, you know what? It brings even more people for all of us. Oh, honestly, my heart leapt with a joy because of this comment from her. All the cafes on that strip were busy, they continue to be busy, and they continue to be successful. They hire a lot of people. They create a lot of produce. They create demand from a lot of suppliers. The queues of people outside waiting to get in. This happens in a lot of areas. Maybe somewhere near you, it's something similar where there's a number of businesses together that are thriving. We see examples in other areas, 2 or 3 Thai restaurants together. I live in an area where there's a lot of vegan and vegetarian restaurants. You see dentists, physiotherapists grouped together. I often give the example of how I can walk from my house to the train station. Actually, not that I'm doing that very often these days, but it's about 10 minutes, and there's about 20 hairdressers and barbers, all thriving alongside each other. Even the secondhand clothing shops have opened near each other. People know that there's a number of these stores that offer retro and hillbilly and other secondhand recycled clothing all in one area. How many tea brands are there? In my own industry, in the past 20 years, pretty much every time I go into LinkedIn or onto Facebook or Instagram, there are new business coaches. I'm a hairdresser. I ran my salon, and now I'm a business coach. I'm a plumber. I've been running a plumbing business, and now I'm a business coach teaching others. I'm a Pilates instructor, and now I'm teaching other people how to run Pilates studios. Life coaching boomed in the 2000s, and business coaching is doing the same, and social media just makes it all the easier for new entrants to the industry. I welcome it, because the more we can run better businesses, the more we can have education to help people start a business and be successful. So let's go back to the example from this particular Facebook group I mentioned. This one business operates all alone in the area, and a newcomer comes along. So the questions I would ask of this business, and knowing this particular area where they are, it's an extremely dense area of an inner city suburb of Sydney. So here's some questions that we could consider. Can that one business serve every person in that area? It's highly unlikely. Is every person in that area the ideal client for that particular business? Again, highly unlikely. Would having more than one business offering a similar service increase the profile of that service in the area? I believe absolutely yes. So here's my question. What if, instead of seeing it as competitive, it was viewed as collaborative? I say this to my clients all the time. I can help you with this and this, but when it comes to that and that, I will help you find the right person or the right company to help you with that. One day I would love to be a one-stop shop, but that's not how it is. The truth is, I am not for everyone. And at the same time, I want people in business, and especially women, to have more education about financials and money and how to make profit and how to pay themselves. There are so many clients out there. There are so many potential clients available to all of us, whatever is our business. There are 8 billion people on the planet, and everyone is not our client. My philosophy is that there truly is a large pie, large enough for everyone. So there's two aspects to this. The pie is enough and the whole industry benefits. So think about it for your industry. How could you collaborate with others in your industry to bring more of what you do in the world to a greater percentage of the population? In Ben Carvoso, in one of the podcast episodes, he's a chiropractor and he wants people totally committed to chiropractic. And then he wants people committed to his practice and then to him as a practitioner. I have many dentist clients who want the entire population to be so committed to dentistry, to maintain good oral hygiene first, because we know the impact that has on the body and overall well-being. And then choose my practice if this is the practice for you, and then choose me as the practitioner. Think about this for your industry. What if you collaborated with similar businesses to bring what you do to a greater portion of the whole community? What if, instead of being competitive, you had a collaborative mindset? What if? I would truly love to hear your thoughts about this. Send me an email, ingrid@healthynumbers.com.au. Connect with me on LinkedIn or come join our growing community in Healthy Numbers Profit Lab Facebook group. Search Facebook for the name Healthy Numbers Profit Lab. And of course, if Facebook's not your thing, I am a huge fan of LinkedIn, and the link is there in the show notes. If you know someone who needs to hear this right now, share this episode with them. Please share it with your friends, share it with your team, share it with your family, your business colleagues, and other business owners who you know would benefit from hearing this message today. Jump into iTunes or wherever you're listening and leave me a review with your comments about the show. Remember, everything I do is taking you towards greater financial intelligence and business acumen, as well as how to achieve financial independence through making profit first and paying yourself more. What action are you inspired to take today? Till the next time, Ingrid Thompson saying thank you for being here.